funny. It's funny how your world can turn upside down in the space of what? 7 days? I'm going to be honest. Last week, because obviously we were the first game up, 12:30. We went up to Newcastle. Obviously, we absolutely got hammered. So we'll get into that in a minute. But it's just funny how life works. I just think the whole thing is hilarious. We all need to laugh at Arsenal, obviously for obvious reasons. Literally were on cloud 9 before last week, and all of a sudden in the space of what, not even 7, it's 4 days, woof, gone. Season is practically dead and they know it. Wow, let's get into it anyway. I don't mind. We lost 4-0 to Newcastle last week. It is what it is, whatever. We were shocking. We were so bad. Yeah, second time we've been chefed up there, to be quite honest. Yeah, it's just, I feel like it's one of those results where when nothing goes right for you within the first sort of 20-25 minutes of the game, you know it's going to be one of those games where you're going to struggle. The first goal is obviously key. I know it sounds cliche, but it was one of those, we didn't do enough to warrant getting a result there. We missed a few decent chances through Werner, who at least should have hit one, going with his head, and it should have went with his head instead of going to try and volley it into the corner. Ended up skying it over the bar. But the highliners obviously cost us. Mickey van der Ven, 2 uncharacteristic mistakes. Essentially, it's cost us the game. We ended up losing 4-0 up at St James's Park. Newcastle are on a really good run of form. Currently, actually 6th in the moment. So they've actually jumped up above Man United as well. So are looking to operate in European football again this season. Not the best result for us for obvious reasons, obviously, but we are still in a race for the top 4, of course, with Aston Villa. On to Brentford versus Sheffield United. That was from the G-Tech Stadium. Yeah, routine result for Brentford, to be fair. There was no way they were losing that game, especially to a Sheffield United team that can't seem to win a game at this moment in time, especially away from home. Formality result for them. Ivan Toney obviously will be coming back into the team this week. I think he was out last week because he was injured, if I'm not mistaken. I remember seeing him anyway. But yeah, ended up being easy 2-0 winners. Really massive result for Brentford, as they were being sucked into a relegation dogfight, which is obviously not what you want, especially back end of this season, where there's going to be about 4 or 5 teams in a relegation battle come the final day of the season, it looks like. Manchester City 5, Luton 1. Speaking of routine, all good for Manchester City, obviously. Nothing more that they needed to do with regards to the result that they obviously got. Put 5 past a very game Luton team. Luton went there, got a goal through Ross Barkley, as Luton always seem to do. They always seem to pick up a goal. They're full of them. They really are. They like to go and score goals, but obviously keeping them at the other end is proving to be a big problem. I do see them staying up still. I've been saying it all season. I have full faith that they'll do it. And I hope they will. I think Luton are just like a breath of fresh air to the Premier League. I love that they're up here. They are my second team, as everyone pretty much knows. And yeah, and long may that continue. Manchester City continuing as they would, as champions do. I do see them obviously getting a 4th trophy in a row, which is unheard of in the Premier League era. No one's ever done that, and I think they'll be the first to do it. Nottingham Forest will be down in the dogfight, along with Luton, Sheffield United, Burnley, Palace, and a couple of others. 2-2 draw against the very game Wolverhampton. This is from the City ground. Nottingham Forest probably would feel they should have won the game, to be quite honest. We're pegged back twice by Cunha. Really timely return from him, and we'll go into the reason as to why a little bit later. But really decent game in general. Yeah, I actually liked it. Really good game, back and forth. It was very open. Defenses were not on top in this one, and I think overall, you know, chances provided, I think it was a pretty fair result that we got in the end with regards to those two. Again, won't be pulling up many trees with regards to where they finish. Wolverhampton will probably finish mid-table as usual. Nottingham Forest will be down in the relegation dogfight, if not in the bottom 3, which is kind of where I would think that they would be now, since they've obviously got rid of Steve Cooper. I don't think Nuno's steadied the ship at all, to be quite honest. Chris Wood has actually been a better striker for it, but overall, Nottingham Forest needs so much work. Burnley versus Brighton. That was from that was from Turf Moor. I was going to say the Amex there. They were away this weekend, Brighton. Again, another draw from them away from home. Brighton do this practically every week. If they're not at home, chances are they're probably going to be the one that's going to give you a draw away from home. Brighton just do that. They've been doing it all season. Again, another one of those games where, you know, you wouldn't have been shocked if it was a win either way. Burnley obviously, you know, fighting for their lives at the moment. Brighton just being Brighton at this moment in time. No real upward trajectory. I know that their manager, De Zerbi, is being chased by a couple of clubs at the moment. I think Man United, namely. Liverpool might be another. Obviously, they're losing Klopp at the end of the season. So it's going to be interesting times for Robert De Zerbi over these course of the next sort of few weeks and months to basically see where he ends up. But a really, really drab 1-1 draw there from what I saw. I didn't actually see this game, but I did obviously see the stats. And from what the stats told me, it wasn't a game worth viewing, if I'm being really honest. Bournemouth 2, Manchester United 2. That was a Saturday night kickoff. I genuinely thought Bournemouth would go and absolutely tear Man United a new one, especially since they went to Man United and did the exact same thing there anyway. I thought United were really lucky to get the draw that they did, but draw they did. Bruno Fernandes on the score sheet twice after Bournemouth took the lead twice, and Bournemouth were very unlucky to not get a penalty in the final embers of that game. So an unfair draw, I would say, but obviously that doesn't do anything for Man United's hopes for the top four, which they weren't getting anyway, to be fair. As for Bournemouth, they're already safe. They're just kind of playing for points now. And they'll be in the Premier League next season. That was on the Vitality Stadium, that was. Now into the shocks of the week. And this is why we were laughing at the beginning of the video. So, Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. From Anfield, that was. And a very, very good result for Crystal Palace. Liverpool did try to throw the kitchen sink at them, but Crystal Palace are one of those now. So, if you play in Europe midweek, you're going to tie at the end of the season. And I think this would be good for everyone's bet. So this is what I'm going to be thinking this